Hello, folkers. I'm Copper Kelly.
And I'm Jodie Lucas, and you're welcome to the Folkin Around Podcast,
your favourite country music podcast. And Joe, tell the lovely listeners, who are we talking to this week?
So this week we had the lovely Stacey Breen join us. She was an absolute delight, wasn't she?
She was. She's a fellow Wexfordian.
Mm-hmm.
So as you said, we're kind of taking over bit by bit.
Ganging up on me.
Yeah. Of course, if anyone hasn't noticed, the colours that we use for the podcast, purple and gold. So now, you didn't know, now you know.
I didn't have a say in that, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a great old chat with her. And yeah, do you want to say anything more before we get going, Joe?
No, I think just throw everyone into it, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
That's it. And just before we get going, yeah, make sure you like and subscribe and follow and all that good stuff and help us grow the podcast, get us out to more people. But for now, without further ado, let's get to the interview. We'll talk to you after.
Okay, so a huge welcome to the Folkin Around Podcast. We've got the amazing Stacey Breen. Welcome, Stacey.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, we're really excited to have you here. Have you done many podcasts before?
I don't think I've actually done a podcast, but I've done hundreds and hundreds of interviews over the last couple of years. So I think this is my first podcast. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm really excited.
Oh, we're not that scary, I hope, Hopefully we'll relax you into it. And they're becoming quite a big thing. Do you listen to podcasts yourself?
To be honest with you, not really. I'm actually more of a radio girl, just listening to the radio today.
Yeah. Apart from this one, obviously, this podcast
apart from this
all the time.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Episodes, and I have to say they're amazing. Fair play to the two of you for doing it.
Oh, bless you.
But you're a Wexford woman anyway. I hear you.
I am a Wexford woman. I'm from a little village called Ferns in County Wexford.
Up the north there. The north
That's
of the county,
right.
I must say.
Papa's been spending weeks trying to find somebody from his neck of the woods. He's really happy that you finally, you'll understand each other better now.
No problem. Yeah, just let us know if you don't understand us, Joe, and we'll translate for each other or something anyway.
So Stacey, for anybody that might not have, come across you before, why don't you give everyone a bit of an insight of, little brief description of you and who you are and what you do?
Well, as Joe said, I'm Stacey Breen. I'm 19 years of age, and I'm a country music singer / entertainer, and I've been on the road for about 6 years now. So.
Wow. So you started at a good young age.
I started when I was about 13 or 14, yeah.
Wow. How did you get into it at such a young age?
I came home from school one day, and my mum and dad said to me, there's a competition called Your Local Star going on in Enniscorthy in the Riverside. And I was like, oh God, I'm not going to be able to do it, because I was bullied quite a lot growing up, you see, and I never really had confidence to do anything. So, but my mum and dad said to me, right, it's next week, so come back in a couple of days and see, give us your answer. So I was like, okay, I'll think about it. So I went up to my nanny and granddad's, and I said to them, look, my mum and dad want me to do this competition. It's like, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I was only 13 at the time. And my granddad and nanny, just go for it. What have you got to lose? And I was like, do you know what? Okay, I'll do it. So I went into the auditions, and it was in the August of 2015. And that's when I met my agent now, Brian Cunningham, and I met Philomena Begley's son, Aidan Quinn. I met Mary Byrne from The X Factor, Kaylee Cullinan from The Voice of Ireland.
Like no pressure.
No pressure. I was breaking it. I tell you, it's like it was yesterday. I was breaking it going in, and I wasn't really going in singing country music, because country music was always played in the house, but I wasn't going in because I'm a trained singer. I go to vocal lessons every week. And then my vocal coach was like, right, let's sing a belter of a song now just to show off what you can do. And I was like, oh God, okay. But I did the audition anyway. I sang Angel by Sarah McLachlan.
Lovely.
And there was no like quarter-final, semi-final or anything like that. It was just an audition, and then you get through to the final. So delightfully, everybody gave me a yes. So I was delighted with myself. And then it was the final, and kind of everything went kind of downhill with the final. I have to say, it was one of the worst nights of my life.
Oh, no.
I was first up, and you had to sing the same song. So that was grand. I've been singing that song since I was 8 or 9 years of age. But I was first up, and I got up on the stage, and the backing track started anyway. And I started to sing, and the mic wasn't on.
Oh.
And then, to make it even worse, Brian came up to me on the stage then while everybody was, the sound technician and stuff was getting everything ready, coming up and checking the mic. The mic was on, but it wasn't working. So thankfully, it kind of wasn't my fault in a sense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nerve-wracking. And Brian came up to me on the stage because he was presenting it, and he said, God, I don't know how you're doing it. And I was like, oh God, don't tell me that. We'll run off the stage in a minute for telling me that. And then everything was sorted, the mic was sorted, and then he played the backing track, and the backing track was about a minute or 2 minutes into the song.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, here we go again. Here we go again. But then everything got sorted. Long story short, everything got sorted. And I sang the song really well. It wasn't my best performance because probably of everything that happened before.
Yeah.
I actually got to sing the song.
True,
but I'll never forget the comments. And one comment I'll never forget was Mary Byrne said to me, that's what you call a professional, because she said to me she would have ran off the stage if she was in my position. So I was like, that is brilliant. That is brilliant. I was like, but like, I didn't win the competition, but I was runner-up, and the runners-up got a chance to record the song. And then that's where everything started. When I Look at You was released 6 years ago. So that's where it all started.
Wow. And was everyone in that sort of around your age? Was it for, for young people or?
No, it was actually of all ages. Like there was younger than me. It was like a variety show. It was kind of like Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent. Like, you could be a singer, a dancer, a band, whatever you like. And yeah, it was actually a really good experience, because I don't think I'd be where I am today if I actually didn't get the courage to go do the competition.
Mm. And how was it like? Because obviously you said, you had tough times at school and things like that. Did that become harder or easier when you started being sort of known as a singer?
School just in general was really just terrible. Actually, just to be honest, like, when I released When I Look at You, and then I released the video, my video to When I Look at You was based on a true story. You see, my uncle passed away 6 years ago from a heart attack, and I really wanted to go into depth on the video. And Kieran O'Donnell, absolute brilliant videographer, was kind of like, yeah, let's go in depth on a and get the song across. So it was based on a true story, the video. And I just remember I was in first year when the song was released, and the video was released a couple of weeks later. And I just remember my Irish teacher playing the video and how proud he was and everything like that. And all my teachers were so proud. A lot of my teachers came to my launch night, which I was delighted with that. But I got a lot of stick for doing what I'm doing. Like, I was bullied about my weight, the way I looked. Primary school was terrible. Secondary school was kind of even worse. Like, as I got older, people just started to pick on me. But then I was kind of thinking, like, look where I am, and kind of look where you are in a way. I was kind of thinking that way.
I mean,
and
kids are awful. People are awful in general, aren't they? And I think that, everyone says to us all the time, nobody ever is, it is a jealousy thing, and nobody's ever jealous of somebody that's doing something bad. So, try and bring comfort that, you're obviously doing something right. And I think, and we've said many a times on here that so many people, I think, have a problem if they come from the same background as you. So people in the same school as you, same, village, things like that. They don't like to see other people doing something because they haven't done it themselves.
Exactly. Like, the school was so supportive. The school is in Enniscorthy, and they were so supportive, but it was just the people that were in the school, if you know what I mean, just saw me as a target and just wanted to break me down piece by piece. And it did for a long time. Until I was about 16, 17. And then I realised, I'm actually making it, and I'm actually doing what I love to do. So I don't care what anybody thinks anymore. It's their own.
Does it almost give you a bit of a grit between your teeth of, I'm going to show them?
Yeah. So, like, I always was asked to sing at the award ceremonies in the school. And I was like, I'm going to sing a whopper of a song now just to show them where I am. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way, that's the way I thought it. And then I also kind of, I won music awards in the school as well. So that kind of showed them as well, like, oh, she actually is kind of doing something good. Like, and I was like, yeah, I surely am, I says to myself,
But what I think is really sad as well is those people who are probably the meanest to you at school will be the first people that when you do something huge, whenever something big happens with you, they're the first people that send you messages, because we've all had it. And
it's already kind of happened. Like, it's already happened. Like, a couple of people who bullied me in primary school have actually texted me and tried to reach out to me saying, look, fair play for what you're doing. You're absolutely amazing. And I follow you and this, and I'm just like, thank you very much. You know, you have to put on, thank you very much. But background
deep down, you're thinking, really?
Or they're trying to be your best friend all of a sudden kind of thing, is it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, sure, you and me go way back. That kind of mentality.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like primary school, like, oh, sure, we went to primary school together. Like, and I'm just here,
they're
like,
probably telling everyone then. Like, oh, I know her. She's great.
That's exactly it.
So we don't want to dwell on things that were really bad, but just whilst we're on this, what would we have people of all ages and experience and things like that listen into this? What would your advice be to anybody that's listening that might be that 13-year-old girl or boy that's going through similar sort of things at school, and whether it's singing or something else they want to do, but they don't believe it because of people knocking them down? What would you say to them?
Well, I would always say, and I was told this growing up, is if you have a dream or if you have an ambition, you go for it and you don't care what anybody else thinks. Because if you want to make a living out of something, for singing, for example, go for it. What have you got to lose? You know, that's what I would say to someone. Just go for it. Yeah. And you'll have all your family behind you, all your supporters behind you. Just do it. That's what I would say to people. That's what I say to people now who actually ask me that question. You know?
Yeah.
I think you forget at that age, don't you? You think that the people around you are going to be the people there for the rest of your life. You don't realise that when you leave school, you'll move on and upwards away from these people. But at the time, it feels like they're the most important people, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Like my family starting out, they were so supportive. My brothers and ma and dad, like my nanny and granddad, the whole entire family was so supportive, and they still are. Like we're very a tight knot. Our family, like we're very close, and I'm very family orientated anyway. But so I do
like while she's talking about that. When we put up that you were obviously coming on the show, we obviously get notifications when shares of things come on, and literally there was easily about 12 people with the surname Breen coming up that they've shared and shared and shared. And I thought, oh, bless her, that's all her family getting in. But it's so lovely to see.
Honest to God, yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. And like, it's so great when I'm like doing a tour or something. And usually at Christmas I go on tour. And it's so great to see my family members just sitting in the audience, because I'm like, oh, there she is, or there he is. You know what I mean? It's great because my family is everything to me, really, you know. So I'm so happy that they just got behind me. But like my mom and dad like sat me down and said, if you don't want to do it, that's your own choice. If you want to do it, we'll keep supporting you, you know. They didn't force me into the singing, if you know what I mean. It was my own.
They were just there.
Yeah, my own choice.
Was it a musical household anyway, or
very musical household? Yeah. My brothers had a band when they were younger called Teenage Kicks, and Declan and Gavin were in it. Declan is a guitarist and a lead singer, and then my brother Gavin is a drummer. So
it doesn't sound like a country band.
No, they were a rock band actually. You know, like Green Day, and
I think a copper would be liking them. That's it, right up the street.
Yes, exactly.
Never know. I could have seen them back in the day. They were playing gigs around Wexford and stuff.
Yeah, like they were a very good band, I have to say. And growing up, you see, I probably would have been about 5 or 6 when they had the band, maybe a bit older. And I'd always sit on the couch in the sitting room, just looking at them play, and I'd be like, I'm going to do that one day, you know. At that age, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to do that one day. So it was great to see. My mum and dad are very talented as well. Mommy's a great singer, so is dad. They were in pantomimes and musicals and all in their time, so yeah.
So where did the country come from?
The country came from my grandparents. My Nanny Murphy is a huge fan of Daniel O'Donnell. Like, I mean, huge.
Aren't we all?
And she loved Isla Grant as well. My granddad absolutely loved Louise Morrissey and loved Big Tom, all of them kind of singers. And all them singers, like Patsy Cline, Loretta Lynn, all the American singers were played growing up in the house anyway. My mum and dad were great country listeners as well. Like, and I kind of got the feel for country music when I started recording country music. So that about 6 years ago. Like, I always loved it, but I never had a feel for it when I first started out singing. It was kind of more along the lines of musical theatre I wanted to go, or classical that I wanted to go. And then when my first single, When I Look At You, came out, not really a country song, but kind of had that country, kind of a little bit of country in it because of Michael Fires. But then when I released Blue and I Fall to Pieces after, 2 Patsy Cline songs, I just fell in love with country music from there. And Patsy Cline was just that person who I could record any song by. I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
And Shania Twain is another one.
Yeah,
you bring a really good mix of sort of like the Irish country and American country. And I think that's what's really popular right now. Obviously, we had Chantal Padden on a couple of weeks ago, and she's very similar in that trying to merge that Irish country with the American.
Yeah, I am. Because not a lot of American country is actually played over here or sung or recorded over here in Ireland. It's a lot of the Irish, you know, when you hear a country song, you know it's Irish by the beat of it. An American song.
The fiddle in it or something.
Yeah,
exactly. And an American country song, you'd know it's an American country song by the beat of it as well. Yeah. So like for my album hopefully being released, hopefully now the end of this year or the start of next year, it's been a year and a half in the making. So but I have a lot of different songs on it. Like I have a lot of, obviously my 8 number one singles are going on it, obviously. And then I have completely different. I have Irish, American, and I have a couple of pop songs in there too. Like I'm very versatile that way. Like I like letting people know that I'm not just a country singer, that I can do something else as well, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And it opens different doors for you as well, doesn't it? And just to see where that journey takes you.
You know, if the country scene doesn't work out for me in years to come, please God it will. But if it doesn't, I have always wanted to be on the West End. There's another dream of mine. So I'd love to star in like Waitress or in Phantom of the Opera or something like that in years to come if, you know, my career over in Ireland didn't really work out for me.
It's really cool to hear. It's like I started in musical theatre and then went more into sort of the country. But everyone else that we tend to interview, they're born and bred country, and they're like, oh, it's through the bones, like the country music. So it's really nice to talk to somebody that's got that sort of depth to them, shall we say?
Of course. Like I started out singing in church when I was in primary school, and it was actually the principal at the time came to mommy and daddy and said, I think you should go get her singing lessons or vocal lessons or something, because, you know, has a really great voice, but it's very timid. I was a very timid singer. I always sang in my head voice and never belted. I was never a belter of a singer when I was younger. And then I went down to Michelle Donoghue, my vocal coach now, and I'm 12 years with her this year. And if she wasn't behind me either, guiding me along what songs, you know, who knows what kind of songs I'd be released. You know what I mean?
They teach you as well, don't you, with that, like you said about the belter voice. So people don't know how to use it, or they damage their voice, or they do all things wrong. And so many singers, it's really nice that you talk about, you know, using a vocal coach, because I've had singers that I've sort of worked with, represented, things like that. And I've said to them, look, I think you'd really benefit from going to a vocal coach. And they instantly take that as, what you're saying, I can't sing, or, you know, they see it as that. And it's like, no, you need to learn to breathe and where you're singing from. And it's that, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Like I was probably about 7 or 8 when the principal said to mommy and daddy to go. And I went down to Michelle. She held auditions, you see, and mommy said to her, and mommy would say to you to this day, that she said to her, if she can't sing, just tell me. You know? That's the way my parents are. They're out straight. And I'm quite similar myself. But I've been with her for 12 years, and it was mainly my sessions with her would mainly be trying to get me stronger each year. So by the time I'm 25, 26, in my 30s or something, that I'd still be able to belt the same as I am now.
Develop your voice through the years.
Yeah, and develop, like, because a year ago, like, my voice had changed completely in a year. Like, I was very exhausted maybe when the first lockdown came in, because before that I was gigging every weekend. It could have been Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It could have been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And I could feel myself getting a bit exhausted. And the first lockdown kind of was in my favour in a way. And then I didn't think it was going to be this long. So I'm kind of a bit like, okay.
We're a bit naive, weren't we? Like, oh, we'll all sit at home, bake some bread and it'll be great.
Yeah, exactly. And like, even in that year, like when I sing every Sunday night on Facebook, I'm different every week. You know, there's a strength that comes every week in my voice that I know I'm changing as I get older.
I was going to say that as well. I listened to your earlier singles, and you sound very good, like when you were younger, 14, 15. But listen to one of your more recent singles, and yeah, it's a complete level up in terms of
completely
singing.
different. Yeah, completely different.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to When I Look at You, I sound 13 in it. You know, I recorded it when I was 13.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the likes of Whenever You Come Around, which was released in 2018, that's the 17-year-old that recorded it. Like, you know, I've lots of new singles coming out in the next couple of months as well, and there's a huge difference in the voice. Like,
yeah, every time you record in the studio, you just get better and more used to the process. So
yeah, exactly.
Like, will be better anyway.
Exactly. Like, I was always very afraid of saying, let's do that bit again, or let's say do that verse and then we'll pause and do a chorus and then we'll go back to a verse, you know, because I don't know, I was just always kind of afraid to speak my own mind when I was recording.
Okay, yeah.
Now, as I'm getting older, I'm able to say, right, just for example, I was recording the 2-track EP at Christmas, and I recorded the first Noel and Blue Christmas. And the first Noel is a very hard song to sing. Very, very hard song to sing because there's so many verses in it. So I was like, okay, right, we're going to do the first verse and the second verse, and then we'll take it from there, however many times I want to do them. I'm well able to speak up now and say, right, that chorus sounds good, let's copy and paste it to each, wherever each chorus fits in. So
that's a secret.
Yeah, but it's knowing what you want now as well, isn't it? Whereas before you were probably quite, unsure of what should be happening.
Exactly. I didn't have a clue on how to use the little desk that's beside you for your vocal, hearing your vocals in the headphones. I hadn't a clue, when I was younger. And now I'm able to say, oh, turn up the voice a bit, turn up the backing track a bit, or turn up the band a bit, whatever I'm doing. Yeah. But I just have a backbone now that I'm able to say, I don't really like that, or no, let's do that again.
And you're a wedding singer as well. So
I
that
am.
must be powerful to stand in the church with all this acoustics and just belt it out and hear yourself reverberating back to yourself. Must be a different level altogether, I'd say, is it?
It is a different level. And you know what? As I said, I started off singing in church. So when I go back to a church, I'm back where I started, really. And I feel so comfortable singing in a church. But yeah, I do lots of weddings. I have maybe 30 weddings this year. I'm booked for next year, and I'm booked for 2023 and 2024 as well. So
wow.
People must like me if they're booking me.
Must do anyway, yeah.
And obviously we'll talk about sort of like your lockdown lives and things, but sort of let's talk about life pre-lockdown. And obviously you were, as you've said, you were out gigging all the time and things like that. So tell us about your gigs and, what you sort of have gained from them, what you like about them and things.
Well, yeah, as I said, I was out, could have been 5 or 6 nights a week. I'm gigging all over the country. I could have been up in Donegal, places around Wexford, Arklow, and Escorty, Gorey.
Would it be dances you would do?
I do a couple of dances here and there, but I would mainly do pub gigs, if you know what I mean. And I do quite a lot of social dances as well. Like when there's something on, they're always looking for, is she available for this? And yeah, no problem at all. Like, and I do quite a lot of guest spots as well. So I do be quite a lot up in Castleblaney doing in the old coach inn doing the hoolie. It's called the hoolie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I be quite a lot up there, and I do play with quite a lot of bands. I played with Barry Kerwin band over the last 3 years now, playing with Barry, and Ryan Turner, and I had a very fortunate moment of playing with Robert Mazel's band in Wexford one time. So I was like, oh my God, But yeah, pre-lockdown was very, very busy for me. We had the tour at Christmas. That's a 10 to 15 night tour in a row, and that's every Christmas. I'd be on the road myself, bank holidays, weddings, funerals, 21st, birthday parties, the whole lot. So pre-lockdown, my life was crazy, and I loved it. Loved being on the road.
And then obviously lockdown hit. And it was, as you say, it was quite nice to have that break initially and think, day off, a bit of a relax. And
it was.
And what goes through your head then when you just think, oh my God, my life is outdoors and, you know, performing with people and everything, what happens then?
Like, I was fine and I loved the break in the first couple of weeks, like, and then it just started to get, the cases started to rise, and I was like, oh God. I was like, oh, I thought it was only going to be a couple of weeks, and I was sitting in the room or sitting in the music room or something and saying to myself, when am I ever going to get back to do what I do? Like, it's
with just the cancellations coming in and things.
Yeah, emails, texts, phone calls, just every week coming in saying we have to cancel this, or we've postponed this. And I was like, I was on the verge of breaking down at some points, like, you know, because that's my life now. Like, music is my job now, and there's a lot of all of us are in the same boat. And I'm devastated for the likes of the bigger artists like Nathan Carter and Derrick Ryan, because they're losing out on a lot, you know.
And they're the people that can't go. You know, obviously, you know, we all know Barry Kerwin's done amazing, and he's going to work in Lidl and he's supporting his family. That's incredible. The likes of you, Derrick and Nathan's, they can't go and get a job in Lidl.
Oh, you can't, because like, if you seen, oh my God, there's Derrick Ryan working in Dunn's, or there's Nathan Carter working in Lidl or something, like, you'd be like, God, they must be finding it hard. Like, that's the way I would look at it. But they obviously are finding it hard, but all of them probably don't have anything else, only their music to them now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So obviously you've done a lot of lives and things like that. How's that been sort of bridging the gap and keeping in contact with fans and things?
Oh yeah. Before the lockdown, I would never really have the time to do a Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. And when I decided to start doing Facebook Lives every week, my name started to get out there more and more. So I was like, this is a good thing. Like, so I started to get more followers, new people that I didn't know. And I've been doing them every week for nearly a year. And it's very nice to do an hour singing, but it's also very nice to come on to Facebook, sit down and have a chat to your followers as well. Because I like sitting down and getting to know what followers they'll be doing, or what my fans do. Are they baking, or are they walking, are they exercising? You know, I like knowing my fans on a deeper level, because they're not my fans to me, they're my friends. You know, that's, and
they're all friends to each other, aren't they? It's always really nice to see them. They'll all have conversations with each other. I don't know whether you sit and watch it as you're singing and it's off-putting a little bit, but
I do.
They're all having a conversation. Or if somebody's missing, I remember watching one and somebody wasn't on it, and they were like, oh, "You're going to ring so and so because they're not on it," and it was so sweet.
Yeah, it is. It's lovely, and a number of people that watch me goes up every week, which I think it's brilliant. You know, Facebook. What would we be doing if some of us didn't have Facebook? You know.
I think what I love about your lives as well, which is just from a complete female point of view, and I think it's amazing, and I want you to continue doing it, is sometimes you'll come onto your lives and you are glammed up to the nines and you look incredible. And then other times you'll come on and your hair's in a bun, you've got no makeup on, and you're in your joggers and you're just there for a good old sing song.
Exactly.
And I love that, because there's so many people, myself probably included, that will only go on camera, you know, if they're made up. And Copper's the same. He's always has to have his face on before before we record. But I find it so refreshing when you do come on and you're just like, hey, it's me.
Yeah, like I am confident in makeup now, and I'm confident without makeup and wearing a jersey and a tracksuit on a live feed, like, you know. And it's quite nice just to get a break away from getting ready every Sunday to do the live, like, you know. And I just do say to myself, I'll do my makeup next week, or I'll do it the week after.
I think it's really good for people watching it, and, you know, obviously so many people compare themselves to people, you know, online, and to see a bit of, you know, we're all human, aren't we? We're all real, and it doesn't happen naturally.
Like,
for me it does, of course.
From him.
Yeah. No, but I get lovely comments, you know, with both, and I think it's very generous of people to say nice things and stuff. But I do get the negative comments now and again still on, but you know what? I delete them before anybody can see them. So
see, I used to delete the negative comments. Now I leave them, and I tell everyone to leave them, because I think, do you know what? Their family and friends could see the comment. So leave it there. Let their family and friends see how ridiculous they are. Just don't even acknowledge it. If you delete it, they know you've seen it.
like some of it is just like, what? What? Like, you're like, what do you mean by that? Like, because sometimes you can't read, somebody could be saying something really nice, but to me, it could, over a comment, like, it's like a text. You can't really read somebody over a text, or, you know,
you like
sometimes you kind of look at a comment and be like, oh, what does it mean by that? Like, you know, but I am a very sensitive person. So when somebody does say a really, really bad negative comment, you can see my face kind of drop a little bit. I am very, very sensitive that way. I've always been very sensitive. So,
but you do get the people that back you up as well, don't you? That will fight your corner in the comments.
Oh my God! Like, quick story. Like, it's a good while back now, and a man came on and he said I think I was singing like a Johnny Cash song, and then I sang Joe Dolan after it. And I remember this comment coming up saying, Joe Dolan and Johnny Cash would turn in their graves listening to you, somebody said to me. And I was like, my face dropped, and all my followers could see it. And the next minute there was like, what's this lad on about? What's he talking about? Delete him. And I was like, oh, I'll just let you all at.
I'll just sing me songs.
But yeah, like, some comments are very, very bad, but I get great comments. You know what? The way I look at it is, it's one comment out of 2,500 views or 3,500 views. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. And they wouldn't say it in person either. You know, they're safe behind their keyboard and saying it. Nobody would walk up to you at a gig, I hope.
And I would love somebody say it to my face, because I would say it to your face if I had something to say, like, but I would rather somebody come up to me and give me their opinion and say, do you know what? Thank you very much for that opinion. I'll take it on board. You know, I would rather.
But only if it's something that you can fix or change, you know, quite quickly, not something.
Yeah, if it's something like somebody come up to me and say, oh, that song didn't really suit you, maybe record it and have a look back to it yourself. And I'd be like, you know what? Thank you very much. I take on. Yeah, it actually is. And I take on things like that. But it's just, I just get on.
It's the ones that are just pointless. I always remember my favourite one was somebody commented under one of my videos once saying, I really hate the colour of your eyes. And it was like, oh, I'm really sorry. Can't change them. I kind of stuck with them now. Just the most pointless of things. But
yeah, like, I'd be like, well, I can't really change it, like, you know.
No. I'll go and get some contacts in the morning.
Yeah.
So enough about lockdown. Let's hope we're on the way out of it now. I'm pretty sure over here in England, we're probably a little bit of a step ahead of you as to what we can do. So I'm very, very excited. But what's the plan after lockdown? What's coming up? What's the future look like?
My plan after lockdown is I don't really know yet, because I actually don't know when this will be over, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I have my weddings booked. I have my album hopefully coming out. I'm really hoping to come out before my birthday this year, which is October. And I'm really looking forward to that. It's been 1.5 years in the making, so it's taken me a while. It was supposed to come out in 2019.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, the couple of months before Christmas in 2019, yeah. And I was supposed to do a duet on it, and unfortunately the duet didn't go ahead, you see, and that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the go ahead on the duet. So then,
can you tell us who it was with? No,
I don't think I can.
Afterwards, after you can tell us after we finish recording.
I'll tell you afterwards. Yeah.
Copper Kelly's available if you need him.
Yeah. I was just waiting on that person to get back to me, and now they did say yes at the start, but then it just took months and months and months to get a date off them and stuff. So I was just like, you know what, leave it, and I'll continue working on the album myself, and we'll see what happens in the new year. So yeah, it's been 1 year in the making. When the lockdown restrictions released and stuff, every now and again I've been in the recording studio whenever I can to get down tracks and stuff, you see, because I'm hoping it's going to be a 17 or 18 track album. So
wow.
Oh, it's like a double album almost then.
Yeah, very, very like it. I want my first album to be a good one.
Yeah.
A good one that people can skip through a song and go to. There's 18 songs you can go through. Like, you know, I want it to be a good one. Like, some people release a 12 or 13 track for the first one. But I was like, no, I want like an 18 or 19, maybe 20
Ambitious.
track album. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully now that'll be out. And you know what? Hopefully I'll be back doing the gigs and stuff because I miss it so much. It's
a shame you can't have like an album launch or something with your big album.
I know.
That would be amazing.
That's why I was saying to myself, I was like, maybe it's worth releasing next year. So I could get an album launch in.
Yeah.
Like my first launch. It was.
Because was your first launch sort of your introduction into country music?
Yeah, so my first launch was the launch of my debut single, When I Look at You. And it was a fantastic night. But if I was to do a launch now, there would be a lot of things I would change.
Yeah. Like what would you change? Give us some tips.
You know what? I wouldn't have as many artists as I had on the night.
How many total did you have?
It could have been 13, including myself.
Wow. And it was your launch.
And
didn't your people like dropped out as well, didn't you? So was it going to be
unfortunately, Keelan Arbuckle's grandmother passed away a couple of days before the launch, so I understood why he couldn't come down. Unfortunately, the night before my launch, the band I was supposed to have called up and said the lead singer has tonsillitis, can't make it. And so my agent Brian was ringing, and eventually we got another band. But I was all day in the Ashdown and Gorey the day of my launch, trying to get the band to know my songs. You know, they didn't know my songs or anything like that. So it was tough. It was a very good night for what it was.
You were 15 at this point?
Yeah. I was just
dealing with all that.
Thrown in at the deep end, then having to deal with
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Oh, stop. But it was a good night for what it was. Like I wanted all local artists, you see, on my launch, and then I had Mary Byrne on it. I had Kaylee Cullinan. I had Kelly Davis when she was out that time. I had David O'Connor, who was from Ferns here. Who else did I have? Michaela Bonner was on it as well. Keelan was supposed to be on it. Unfortunately, he wasn't. I was really looking forward to meeting him because it would have been the first time I would have met him and kind of got to know him and stuff. And then, so we were practicing all day. And where I recorded my first single in Donegal, in Newtown Studios with Jim Corbett, I wanted him to come down because he was very good to me recording my first single. So he came down, and the new band was there, and we were trying to get everything sorted. And I was only singing about 4 songs with the band. The rest was backing tracks for me because I was singing the likes of One Moment in Time by Whitney Houston and stuff like that out here on my own, and Fame and Angel, When I Look at You was with a backing track and stuff like that. So I had a couple with a backing track, but I sang Ho Hey, Broken Road, I Fall to Pieces, and something else with the band. So we were just practicing all day. And long story short, Jim Corbett came up to me, and I'll never forget the bit of advice he gave to me. It's always stuck with me when I'm playing or singing with a band this day. And he said, the band doesn't control you, you control the band. And that has stuck with me ever since. And I said to myself that day, I said, what does he mean by that? And he said it again. He said, and I was like, so explain to me, I said, and he said, well, when you're up with a band, if the tempo is not right, either tap the side of your leg or tap the back of your foot so the drummer can see what tempo you want the song to be in. The drummer or the musicians don't control you. You have to control them when it's your time.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is brilliant. Like, you know what? This is brilliant. So I have come on immensely over the last 6 years. Like, I'm 6 years in the business at Christmas, like, and I've come on immensely. So I'm really delighted with the career I've had so far. Hopefully I'll continue.
So much more ahead though, isn't there? So I'm going to go on to some fan questions, if that's okay, because obviously we've had lots of people messaging in. So I'm sorry if we don't get to everybody. Again, you probably know Katrina Levingston, obviously down your neck of the woods as you do. I'm feeling very ganged up on with all these people. She wanted to say hi and what an inspiration you are. And she's very, very into her makeup. She's just qualified this week as a makeup artist, bless her. And she wants to know where you sort of take inspiration from your style for. I
take my style, do you know what? I never really had anybody to guide me in that way. My mum is very stylish. My style towards hers is very different. Mammy is very outgoing with her style. Do you know what? I had my ma and my nanny behind me. My nanny's a seamstress, so if anything needed to be taken in, taken out, let up, let down, she was always there. Mum always picks my outfits for the shows because I'll always trust her with that. She always picked great outfits and stuff for the shows, and she'd always leave them out the night before. And I'd come in, she'd leave out about 3 or 4 outfits the night before a gig or a special guest performance. And they'd be hang up on the wall, and I'd be looking at them like, yeah, I like that one. Don't really like that one. I like that one. But my style nowadays it's very casual now. I in my leggings here and my cardigan and, you know, really relaxed. But for pub gigs and stuff, it'd be normally probably jeans, nice dressy top. My style is very, very plain. For shows now, as Katrina would know, I love suits.
Yeah.
And I love, the dip hem dresses and stuff. They're very country. I love a leather skirt and Doc Martens and stuff. I'm very into that stuff now.
I always think you're quite power dressy, actually, for somebody so young and petite and lovely. You know, you're very, very power dressing whenever I see anything of you.
Yeah, I love like suits. I have the suit I wore in the photo I sent in. I have that suit in about 5 or 6 different colours.
I love doing that. Something that fits nice and you're like, I'll have it in all of them.
Yeah, I love this. I absolutely love it. Yeah, and the makeup, I was never one for makeup. I was a tomboy growing up. It was jerseys. I was a camogie girl. I was always playing sport. I'm an Irish dancer as well. I was always Irish dancing. So I was always going around in the shorts or in a jersey or something like that. But the makeup kind of, I always, when I first started out in the music industry, I always paid to get my tan done and I always paid to get my makeup done. So I always went somewhere to get it done. And it was just so expensive.
Yeah.
You know, it was becoming really expensive. And you know what? I sat down and I looked at YouTube and I followed tutorials and I do my makeup for shows, gigs, weddings. I do my ma's makeup, my brother's fiance's makeup. I do my own hair. I haven't got my hair done in over 2 years. I just watch it. I just don't need
messaging you for tips whilst I'm in lockdown.
So I just learned how to do my makeup off YouTube, and I've now found a technique and a style of makeup that suits me that I can do every day that'll kind of always look good, if you know what I mean.
And you have people asking you for like tutorials yourself, don't you? I've seen that on your social media.
Yeah, I did a while back there on Facebook, and a lot of people were asking me, how do you get the base so flawless or whatever, like, and I was like, you know what, I'll jump on someday and I'll do a live and I'll go through every step, and you know what, I loved it. And I was like, because I didn't think somebody would ask me to do something like that. Yeah. A lot of people now have been asking me to do a day in the life. What do I do during the day?
They're really popular, aren't they? People are just nosy. I think that's it.
Yeah.
But what do you do in lockdown? You're like, well, I just went to the kitchen and
like, you know what? Now, like, I've always struggled with my weight, as I've said previously. And you know what? I had put on quite a lot of weight in 2018, 2019, and the lockdown actually made me get up off my bum and go do something, you know. So I've been exercising and I've lost, could have been 2 or 3 stone through the whole year. Like,
wow,
I'm delighted. I'm doing.
I think I put what you lost on. People go one way or the other, don't they?
But I've been doing like PT sessions with my uncle. You see, he's a personal trainer and stuff. And
wow.
And you know what? Exercise is a big part of my life now. I have 2 dogs and I have a German Shepherd, Harley, and I have a terrier cross, Roxy, and the walks and the runs and all, they love it. So exercise was actually a big part of the lockdown, kind of getting the physical side of me good and also the mental side of me good too, because it was very tough. And a lot of people would say, oh, you're only 19, it's your whole life ahead of you. But being confined in your home for over a year nearly, it's very tough on a youngster as well, you know.
Absolutely.
So I think at this point, actually, I think we're going to go over to Copper's Corner,
Yes.
which is his favourite bit.
Join me in Copper's Corner.
So don't need to get your pipe for it. I feel like he needs a pipe, and we all sit with like Copper's Corner.
That'd be brilliant.
So this is where I kind of ask, I suppose, random questions to kind of get to know you better, let the fans know you better as well. So tell me, what's the first ever CD that you bought?
That's a tough one now, actually. I'm going to think back now. My first CD, it was definitely either a Shania Twain Greatest Hits. Actually, it was a Shania Twain. It was, it was on sale in Dunn's for €10 when I was like 12 or 13, and I had the €10. I was like, I'm getting that. It was like all our greatest hits, so I included like Man, I Feel Like a Woman, What Made You Say That, That Don't Depress Me Much, all of them, all the classics, like. Yeah. And that was my first CD I ever got.
I noticed that you said definitely as well. That's the real. Have you ever heard that show before?
No, I didn't. I was just like, okay.
Definitely.
I'll just go with it.
Just how we Wexford people say it sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's the accent.
But, yeah. And tell us, say if we have a karaoke night and you were handed the microphone, what would be the first song you pick to sing karaoke?
Do you know what? When I do karaoke, it's actually the people who tell me, "Oh, up and sing this song." But if it was me, I would probably. God, when we went on holidays, I did karaoke all the time, and it was actually my singles that I sang the most. But if it was something apart from,
were you selling them as well, like family at the side, going, discount, get them signed?
Yeah, I felt like that actually sometimes. If I was to pick one myself apart from the songs I've released, do you know what? It would probably be Tonight, The Heartaches on Me by the Dixie Chicks.
Oh wow.
Absolutely.
Or the Chicks as they're known now.
Or the Chicks, as they're known now.
Yeah.
But, and before lockdown, I know you were gigging a lot yourself, but did you have any time to go to any gigs of artists that you wanted to see? Say, go to Philomena to see anyone. What was the last gig that you were at?
The last gig I was at was Nathan Carter's in the Wexford Opera House every Christmas. I do go to that every Christmas. But in an arena, I went to see Shania Twain a couple of years back. They told me that the tickets were sold out, and I was here sobbing. I was like, oh no. I was sobbing in my room, and then my birthday came around, and the next minute, the family handed me an envelope, and my brother was recording. It was like, oh no. And I opened it, and it was Shania Twain tickets, and I cried. I was like, we
need a copy of the recording of that to kind of insert here.
They were like, "Yous all told me." I was like, "Yous all told me they were sold out." But that was the show and concert of a lifetime for me. But my idol, obviously, would be Shania Twain in America and Patsy Cline. But in Ireland, I actually, and not a lot of people know about this, but I actually did a duet with Derrick Ryan when I was 8.
Really?
I was,
How didn't I know this?
I was in the choir in primary school, and I got a solo to sing Silent Night Australia in Irish, and I didn't know Derrick Ryan. This was the first time I had ever seen Derrick Ryan play in the church here in Ferns, and the next minute I sings my solo anyway, and the next minute who steps out? Only Derrick Ryan beside me, and the two of us are singing it together. And I was like, oh my God, this is actually a surreal moment. So that's actually something that not a lot of people know about me, actually, is that But Derrick Ryan, songwriter and singer and entertainer, is my idol of Irish country music over here. I literally adore his songwriting. It's just amazing. Like, so I.
What's your favourite song he's wrote?
There's quite a lot, but "Was My Mother" again is quite a lovely one. I love "God's Plan." "Life Is a River."
Oh, classic.
All his old stuff.
Although I really like, so he recently did Connemara Sky, and I can't believe that's never been a single.
Yeah, like, what the hell? I was like, why haven't he released that yet? I was like sitting here and I was like, oh my God. You know, there's like, song. And the fact that he was in a boy band as well, like, you know, he's versatile.
Boy band that's getting back together.
Oh my God, yeah, oh my God. I can't wait.
2022.
He would be my idol of songwriting and an entertainer. Also, Philomena Begley played a big part in my life over the last couple of years too. I did a duet with her when I was 15. That's on YouTube for anybody wanting to check it out. It's on my YouTube channel, Stacey Breen, so you can go
It's funny, I was watching that actually, and I noticed when you stood beside her, you kind of blocked out the light on top of her. She's obviously a lot shorter than you are, so you're blocking her limelight. She probably didn't mind so much, did you?
No, you know what? Before I go up on stage, and I was
you're breathing, preparing yourself, getting ready.
Yeah, I was, because it was a big deal. Like, I was recording a TV show with Alley Cats, Texans and Stilettos, and unfortunately, it didn't get in time to be edited, so it didn't get released. So
you know what, somebody asked me the other day what that program was called, and I couldn't remember what it was called. And now, obviously, you've just said it, because I've been saying for ages we need a reality show on the Irish country music scene. And somebody said one was trialled, and they couldn't remember the name of it, and that was it, wasn't it?
That was it. Yeah, Texans and Stilettos. Like, they filmed like for months with me, and unfortunately, it just didn't get in time for it to be edited and stuff and be released. Yeah. But the duet was edited, and my couple of bits talking about Cleona Hagan and stuff like that in it were obviously put in, and it was a great experience as well. But I would have liked to see it on TV, like. But yeah, that night, like, they said I was 14 in it, but I was 15 recording. I was 14 when they started recording. I was 15 when they finished. Right. So it was like, that night was a big deal for me. Like, you know, it was a very big deal. Like, singing her most famous song, "Blanket on the Ground," with her. I was like, okay, you better not mess this up, because if you do, it's the Queen of Country. Like, you don't know what.
Do you feel like bad singing her bits? Like, I'm so sorry. Do you want to sing? Like,
God, I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm just going to sing this, and I kept getting into it, and she put her arm around me near the end, and I was like, oh, I kind of like fell into her like a little bit. I was like,
lovely.
Like, I was like, oh my God, it was lovely. And then the next minute, I just felt a buzz while singing it. I just said, come on, everybody. Like, you can hear me saying it in the video, and it's lovely. Like, and you could see the buzz I had getting off the stage. But yeah, Philomena has played a big part of my life, like, giving me great advice, and a lot of others like Louise Morrissey, Cathy Dirk and John Hogan, and quite a lot, Nathan Carter, for instance, as well. Like, Jared Butler has been absolutely great as well, stage manager, you know, airplay and stuff. And I remember going to see Nathan for the very first time at Christmas, and Jared knew who I was, and I was like, oh my God, don't say nothing, don't say anything. And he was like, and I was getting a picture with Nathan Carter, and Jared was like, you should hear this girl singing. And Nathan looked at me like, well, you were a singer. And I was like, yeah. So
I do a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, just small bit. And like, oh my God, that is so great. He was so nice that I was like, it was like he wanted to talk to me for hours. You know, his personality just came across so good. And I was just kind of looking at him like, you know, I was kind of like overwhelmed, because I wasn't expecting him to say that. Jared, I wasn't expecting him to say that. But yeah, great entertainer as well. Yeah. Nathan, I have to give him his due. Absolutely brilliant. But Philomena Begley, yeah, as I was saying, a lot of great artists have given me a lot of good advice over the last 6 years. Now, there's been a lot of ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. I would say to people, I haven't, not in the spotlight, but I've been in the public eye from a very young age. With like, and so having the advice of the older generation of music, giving me the advice of, you know, who to trust, not to trust, you know, along the lines of that, and it was great to have all of them behind me and supporting me that way. So yeah.
So I think I know the answer to some of this question already, but if you had a dinner party and you could invite 3 people, alive or dead, from anywhere in the world, whatever it is, anytime, who would you invite and why?
Right. I would invite Philomena Begley, one, because, you know, she's such good crack. off the
She
stage.
drinks a lot, though. You'd have to, get the drink in. She wouldn't mind me saying that. She drinks a lot.
You know what?
She
is actually some crack. She has the best humour of a woman of her age too. Sorry, Philomena. I'm just saying.
She's really getting thrown under the bus here.
But she just has such a good sense of humour, and what a voice as well. Another one would be Shania Twain. Yeah. I'd have to invite Shania Twain. I think, I actually have a quick story about Shania Twain. When I released Who's Better Your Boots Been Under, and up, it was the two, my agent Brian put it up on his Twitter, and Shania Twain retweeted it.
Oh.
And I was
my God.
That day when I seen it, I jumped around the place. I was delighted myself. Not a lot of people can say that Shania Twain retweeted two covers of
that's pretty cool.
Of our song. And
you could just give up now. That's it. How does it get better than that?
Yeah. Oh my God, it was so good. So yeah, she would be another one, because I think she, even though I haven't met her, I think she's a great woman and very inspirational. Like, to me,
she'd have great stories as well, wouldn't she? Of her, what she's gone through.
Yeah, exactly. And the third one is tough, because there's a lot of people that I would love to invite. But if I was to invite one more person, you know what? It's either between Derrick Ryan or Nathan Carter. It's one of them.
Oh, okay. So you toss a coin.
And that's the big battle anyway, isn't it? Nathan or Derrick. Oh,
I'll invite the two. I'll have to invite the two. But yeah, they would be the four or the three people.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
I always think we should change that question, Copper, and we should say, who wouldn't you invite to aid in a party?
No.
Just to get us in trouble. We'd all have the same answer.
Yeah.
But, another question as well: if you were washed up on a desert island and you had 3 CDs washed up with you, and you had no other CDs to listen to, and you were marooned there for weeks and weeks and weeks, what would you hope those 3 CDs were that you could listen to again and again?
Right. Okay. One like an album, or just
yeah.
So an album, obviously, greatest hits, Shania Twain, my 10-year-old CD. You have to
So if you say Shania Twain, Philly, and Derrick, I'm just going to go around.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be the name of this podcast.
Actually, another album I bring with me is Vince Gill.
Vince Gill, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely love Vince Gill. I think he's amazing. And then the third one would be Patsy Cline.
Patsy Cline.
Yeah.
Very good. That's a good mix there, all right?
Yeah.
One more question and then we'll let you go. Do you have any ghost stories for us?
Ghost stories, I do actually.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Look how happy he is. He loves a ghost story.
There's the house that I'm living in with my parents at the minute is an old couple used to live in it before we obviously rebuilt it and stuff. It was kind of knocked down when my and dad first got the house. And I'm in the biggest room in the house. Thank you.
You're the star.
Well, I remember one night I was asleep. I would never sleep on my own, by the way. When I was growing up, I always had one of my brothers there was 2 double beds in this room, and one of my brothers would be in the other one and I'd be in one, because I was quite afraid to sleep on my own actually for a long time. And then I moved into this room. I have a couple of rooms in the house. I'm very sorry to my 2 brothers, but they're moved out now. But I was sleeping one night, and I remember just having this dream, and this name just kept being mentioned in my dream. And the name was Susie, and I was like, why is this Susie being mentioned in my dream? The next minute I woke up, and it's kind of like I looked over into the corner, and like, to this day, now a lot of people don't believe me when I say it, but I swear to God, it was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was in a corner of my bedroom. It was actually this corner that's
I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to look at you in case something comes up.
I remember
What's that behind you?
No,
do not. But I woke up out of bed and I kind of sat up. And I remember looking over, and I just seen this white figure. It was like a white but black all around it. And the next minute, it just came at me, and I just went like that, and I don't remember a thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember a thing.
And you didn't move instantly. That would be like, we're leaving everyone, we're off. That would be me. I'd be gone.
Honestly, it like came at me. It was like, do you know the way you see the movies of a demon taking over a body? It was like, it was trying to
gone off on it.
Like, get at me. Like, and there's a lot of people that don't believe me, but if you were here and you'd walk into my room, there is a presence in my room. Like, I can still feel a presence to this day.
You shouldn't say that. He loves ghosty things. He'll be knocking on your door. There'll be like a weird knock at midnight, and it'll be.
And another thing is that the woman who I had to figure out, I was trying to figure out why Susie was mentioned in this dream, and I remember my grandmother telling me, "Oh, sure, that's who lived in the house before you. Like, that's the woman that was there, like, and she's obviously slept in your room, like." And I was like, oh my God. It's like, well, I hope she's a nice one, because if she's a bad one, I'll be up and gone out of this house quicker than you can say run.
Hope she likes your music and things, you singing all around the place.
Oh, well, I hope she does anyway, yeah. But I haven't had an experience since that now, but I do feel I do feel a presence now and again.
Yeah. Do you think that was Susie, the white figure that came towards you?
Do you know what? I hope it was, but I don't know if it was.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty weird experience.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing with us.
No problem.
I'm going by myself, and we'll be going in a minute. And yay!
But yeah, that's my Copper's Corner finished for. Do you have any other questions, Joe?
No. So, where can everyone find you, Stacey? What's your socials and YouTube and everything?
Well, you can find me on all the social media platforms. I do have a couple of different names, because when I was starting out, I obviously had Instagram already and had Snapchat and stuff, so I had to change them throughout the years. But on Facebook, I have a like page. It's Stacey Breen Music. You can go like that. I also have a personal page, Stacey Breen. I go live on that page if you want to send me a friend request or pop in and have a look at the lives. I'm also on YouTube, as I said, it's Stacey Breen. Go subscribe and subscribe to the Folkin Around Podcast too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I am on Instagram, which is Stacey Breen Music _. And I'm also on Snapchat, which is Stacey Music 1. So they can all follow me.
I'll put them in the podcast description anyway. So
brilliant.
Just click on them.
Perfect.
That's great. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
So it's been an amazing interview. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully you'll come back and talk to us again someday.
I surely will. Thank you so much. And Stacey.
And you. Thanks, Stacey.
So that was our interview with Stacey Breen. That was good crack. Joe, did you have a good time with that?
Oh, I did. She's just so lovely and so down to earth. And we'll forgive her for being from Wexford, but it was a lot of fun. Did you enjoy it?
Them's fighting words. Yes. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's good to talk to someone with a Wexford accent as well. Even though I've a New Ross accent, which is more twangy, I guess, and she has that kind of Ferns North Wexford accent.
Let us know if you need subtitles, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, that was good crack. But I suppose now we go on to our weekly segment. This is our track of the week. And Joe, tell us, what did you suggest that we listened to last week?
So I suggested the Band of Heathens, and the song was Hurricane. Did you listen to it?
I did. I'm pretty sure I remember kind of coming across them in the past, and they're definitely up my alley. You say I really, really enjoyed it, and I have really nice kind of studio speakers here. So if I listen to any of these tracks, I have it on like full quality. I can hear all the instruments come in. There was a point when I think towards the end of the song where this guitar came in on the right ear and just it's giving me chills. It was very, very good. It's that kind of old vintage kind of country style, but this is a modern sound as well.
It's actually really good if you go onto YouTube and watch it live. They do a lot of acoustic performances, and live and acoustic is really, really good. But I think it actually became more sort of known. There was a Lane Hardy, who won American Idol, I think 2 or 3 years ago, country singer. He sung it for his audition, and then in the final brought it back and sung it there. And like Band of Heathens became hugely, hugely popular after that, and got him sort of on tour with them and things. And it kind of worked out well for the both of them, obviously. But that's where a lot of country listeners may have heard it from. They may have heard the Lane Hardy version, but actually Band of Heathens, I believe, wrote it.
All right,
and were certainly the original performance of it.
That reminds me of, wasn't it the X Factor a few years ago, or a good few years ago now, but they released a song, whoever won it, can't remember the name, but whoever won it released Biffy Clyro's song, Many of Horrors. And it was a huge, huge hit. But Biffy Clyro had literally released it maybe 2 or 3 weeks or about a month before the X Factor release. But
it's funny, things like X Factor, they release a lot of country songs, don't they? Because they had like Hallelujah. There was The Climb by Miley Cyrus. They do really, as much as obviously we've had Chantal Padden on, and she was saying how the UK and even Ireland to a point of the talent shows don't support the country singers, but so many of the winners' singles were originally country songs that have then been adapted into more of that sort of poppy commercial sound. So I just find it really interesting that they don't like the country singers, but I think they love a good old country song.
Must be still this kind of, I don't know, stigma about country. It's just, this is old type of music. It's just, it's not cool or whatever. I don't know, whatever. But maybe it's just still kind of this old stigma kind of holding over. But here, that's why I want to do this kind of thing. Change people's perceptions and kind of, hey, country's actually pretty good. Have a listen to it. You might be surprised. So, and actually, talking about surprising, did you listen to the song? I recommended Metallica, Mama Said.
Yeah.
That was a big surprise, hopefully. What did you think of it?
I was pleasantly surprised. Like, obviously no surprise Metallica on my normal playlist. But no, pleasantly surprised. Like, it worked, didn't it? And I don't know the singer's name from Metallica, but certainly his voice led really well to it. And I watched the video for it on like YouTube, and I presume it's the guy that sings it that's in the video that's playing a cowboy in it. And he that's him, he looks like a good old country boy. He's had a mullet in the past. He has a big handlebar mustache. It's all this kind of stuff. Yeah, you'd think he's country if he wasn't in a big metal band. But yeah, he's a huge as I say, pleasantly surprised. I wasn't offended by it. No. And this is why this is so good, because I wouldn't necessarily ever go and think, I'm going to go and listen to some Metallica. But obviously, I mean, it's difficult because it's a different style to them. It's not as though I'm like, I liked Metallica. I might go and listen to their other stuff and see what they're up to.
Completely different. I get that, of course. So
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and if listeners don't know what I'm talking about, Metallica are generally a fairly heavy metal band, fairly angry sounding, I suppose you could say. But this particular song, Mama Said, is like a complete country. There's slide guitar. It's very twangy. It's very introspective. It's really, it's just a really, really good country song. And you would not technically expect it from Metallica. But this kind of goes to show that metal isn't all about being angry and la la la. Like a lot of people that listen to metal are very calm people. They're as I said before, they're all fluffy bunnies inside. They might look mean on the outside, but they're actually nice guys, nice people. Nice
like
ladies.
you, Copper Kelly.
Exactly. But what song do you suggest that we listen to this week, Jo?
So my suggestion for you is not necessarily country. It's probably got more of a folk feel to it, /pop / I don't really know. But it's a band called Passenger. A lot of people would have heard Passenger for. They had a massive single way back called Let Her Go. And I think it was the biggest selling single it was 2015. It was like the biggest selling single of 2015.
Like what? You love her till you let her go. That one?
That's it. That's it. Yeah. And equally, that's an incredible song. But the song that I'm going to get you to listen to is a song, as I say, by Passenger, and it's a song called Holes. Great song. I actually saw Passenger years ago in a quite a biggish venue, to be fair. And there was a problem with the electrics there and stuff like that. And whilst they were fixing it, the lead singer from Passenger just stood on the front of one of the, they have the flight cases at the front of the stage to keep people back. He just stood on it with his acoustic guitar, and he sung Holes, literally half singing it, half screaming it so everyone could hear it. But it was by far one of my favorite moments of any gig I've ever been to, because we were all just silent. We're respectful of what he was doing, and it's a deadly song. It's amazing.
Nice. All right. And
bit of a warning, there is bad language in it, guys, if you're listening to it at home.
Oh, you're the one suggesting bad language. No, I'm not.
I know. No, like, it's not too bad, but there is the odd, don't let your nan listen to it.
It's for artistic purposes, you could say.
Yeah. And what will I be listening to this week, Copper?
Yeah, I found this guy just the other day. He's a Canadian singer, a guy called Ryan Lindsay. And
Ryan Lindsay. I feel like I've heard of Ryan Lindsay. Okay.
Yeah? Oh, good. Okay. So again, I just basically kind of came across him the other day, and I listened to his. If you go onto his Spotify, the first song he has is called "Better Now," and it's really kind of uplifting, kind of make you feel better. So if you are feeling down the dumps, this is the kind of song to put on, and hopefully, cheer you up a bit. So have a listen to that now next week, and let me know what you think.
I will indeed.
Cool. So I suppose we round up the episode now. So, Joe, if the people would like to follow us on our socials, see what's going on in our worlds, where can they find us?
So we are on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok, and we are Folkin Around Podcast. And we're also over on Twitter, and we are Folkin Around Pod. You can also email us if you've got any sort of feedback, shout outs, requests, things like that. And we are folkinaroundpodcast@gmail.com. And where can people find you, Copper?
Yeah, you can find me Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, as you say, Copper Kelly Music. You find me there. And also you can find my music on Spotify, iTunes, all those regular places. But where can they find
and
your
most
own?
Wanted.
No, most wanted. Where can they find your own socials then, Joe?
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok, and I am at Welcome to Jodie Land. And I'm also over on Twitter at Welcome to Jodie.
Brilliant. And just to say, if you're obviously listening this far, thanks very much. And if you like to give us a bit of a support, give us a bit of a leg up in this crazy world of podcasting, make sure that you go over and hit, if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button there so you don't miss any of our coming up videos. If you're on, say, Spotify, hit the follow. If you're on Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave a little review. Even if you don't listen on Apple Podcasts, if you go over to Apple Podcasts, leave a little review for us. 5 stars, preferably. But yeah, leave us a little review. It'll really give us a bit of a help and a leg up to get this out to more people and kind of create this kind of country-loving community that we're looking to create. But again, if you're listening this far, thanks very much. You're an absolute soldier. Thank you very much. I don't know why I said soldier, but whatever. It's all good.
Just salute to that.
I salute as well for some reason. I don't know. I have no military affiliations. But yeah, geez. And Joe, who are we actually going to be talking to next week?
So next week's episode is a lovely episode with the wonderful Emma Furlong.
Yes, that's a good episode. So yeah, join us next week for that one. But for now, do you have anything more to add before we go?
As always, thank you so much. If you stayed this long, and thank you for always coming back to support us. We do really, really appreciate it.
Yes. And that's really rounds up our episode this week. But as always, bye, folkers.
Bye.